welcome back to the History of Fleetwood Mac. I'm Anita. Today we're going to continue my little retro rewind into the Wild Heart scrapbook that I had. I showed some items last night from an article and such like that that I'd gotten somewhat recently, and I'm continuing on with a few photos that I got, plus I kind of revamped some pages. I didn't have as much time as I'd planned today, so it will be kind of a short video. I'm still working on stuff, as always. And I've been kind of fortunate and blessed in a bass-backward way that I've actually had things to do to kind of keep me continuously motivated to do other things. To be quite honest with you, as I've said in my videos, I've just really been going through a lot, and these are definitely my priority, but I was just kind of be at home all the time, and actually I've been out kind of doing more stuff, so it's all around good, except that I feel kind of bummed because I haven't been able to get as many pages done per day as of late as I'd like to. The weather has also taken a drastic turn. It's been like in the mid 70s, and for Oregonians, when just like a week and a half ago we were having like 40s, is a huge difference. So it was actually kind of nice today, as it were, to spend the day outside and just kind of be out for a little bit in the day. No excuse, but I'm just kind of taking you along the journey of this whole photo album, scrapbooks and everything that I do and such like that. So anyway, without further ado, the stuff that you came here for, that's not the story. Like I said, I kind of revamped some pages, and this is one that will look familiar to you out of my scrapbook. And this was one I had done a really long time ago, and this one wasn't so much done, but it is kind of cool to see this, to bring it up again. This was a invite to one of the belladonna balls that I've spoken about in the past. They were birthday parties put on Stevie Nicks' birthday for fans. There was a handful of them in San Francisco, and that's not to be confused with the Wild Heart affair, which actually had begun around the time it's Kat and Deidre. Kat and Deidre were the wonderful ladies who put on the belladonna ball, and after the belladonna ball ended, Daniel, a gentleman named Daniel, had taken up the torch, if you will, with the Wild Heart affairs. But this one was really nice because I want to say that Kat's mother had painted this for her at some time. And even though it's strikingly different than the photo, there's just something still so the same of it. And also in kind of getting back to some of the videos I did somewhat recently talking about art, even though this is not Stevie or any Fleetwood Mac's art, one of the things I was going to point out was other art, people's interpretation of Stevie and Fleetwood Mac, just in some little random pieces that I had, but this would be a good example to bring up at that time. I probably won't because I'm telling you about it now, but just something. But really the fine point was this page, and again, it doesn't look much different to you, but what was really funny is I found these two scraps in nicer condition than I had. Actually, I think they're right here. Should have had them beforehand, I apologize. These were the old ones, and you can kind of see there's some white spots on there. And this I've had since high school, and back in the day, this is what you used to think was the best way to what's the right word I'm looking for? Laminate stuff. And yeah, I did this a lot to my photos, and it's fun coming across one. In fact, I kind of almost don't want to get rid of this because this has been with me since this magazine article came out in 82 or 83, probably 83. But as you well know, they're great pictures from the If Anyone Falls video. But I did get nicer parts, and what was even nicer is that this little piece here originally had this beneath it. It looks like I must have cut that off on my original copy, or it got bent or something, it's hard to say. And then this was a little piece of the magazine as well, like what page it was on. But it's just kind of cool that they use the same font here like that and the different colors. So I know that's really dumb, but it was kind of cool to me to re-get them. There was also a lot, when I first begun scrapbooking, I was using photo corners, and you can kind of tell here, because I thought, oh my goodness, one of these days somebody's going to want this stuff. Nobody's going to want this stuff. And so I tried not to glue a lot of stuff down. And the glue that I use is kind of like and I think maybe I showed this before, but this is a little gadget, and then you can get refills to go in this. But this is photosensitive, and there's a certain word, non-acidic, so that the tape and the glue or whatever it is not going to turn yellow underneath your pictures. And with a little work and diligence, you could get the picture back up without tearing it. So you just have to be a little gentle. But I did glue these down this time, took all these photo corners off. And when it comes to photos, which I'll show you in a second, I do still use some of that stuff, but with photos, because the paper they're on, it will come undone quite easily. Magazines and stuff, magazine paper, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, so you'd want to be a little bit more careful if you were to use this. This is a company called AdTech. Not that anybody's doing this stuff. I know you can find it at like Hobby Lobby, which I hate going to, but I've just begun using this all the time. And you can also get it on Amazon and I think Walmart sometimes. And then you get a little, well, I don't have the box, I do. Not that anybody's asking, but the little box of refills. So there's that. And if you see that, I was kind of thinking the other day about, again, how much money has gone into these books. And I go through, this is, what is it? There's eight refills. And I go through probably a box of these a week, maybe 10 days, maybe almost 2 weeks. And that's $9 right there. That's not including the paper, the money I spend on photos, the scrapbooks themselves. I was just kind of thinking about it again the other day, and I'm like, good Lord, I mean, there's a lot of money in these books. And I'm not saying that in a bragging way. I'm just like, Jesus, Anita, could you stop? And I mostly also say that again because I was talking to somebody tonight about new photos, and they had shown me the photos that they had, and I've already kind of picked out some. And then they showed me more photos tonight. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take that, that, and that. And it's like, I can't help myself. I just want to keep buying them, and they're beautiful, and I've never seen them. And I've also been really good about not taking everything they had, not trying to take that on. I just tried to take some of the better stuff that I thought was kind of more unique or kind of different. Surprisingly, you guys would be really amazed probably that I didn't take a lot of really young, early Stevie Nicks Fleetwood Mac. It's weird, I know, but I like kind of, the Mirage and the, say, Street Angel and such, so just kind of weird. But so after saying that, then I did receive these two pictures. I'm going to start with this one here first. Oh no, we'll start with this page first, sorry. This is a really cool thing I'd had a while back and had never scrapbooked, and this was an original fan club. I mean, can you imagine? And let me tell you a couple things about this page. It was send $10 today, right now, and receive the deluxe membership package, which includes an official membership card embossed with your name. I've seen a couple, and I don't recall that they're embossed, but I'm not saying they aren't. A letter from Stevie welcoming you to her club, an 8x10 picture of Stevie, and that is actually the picture of Stevie on the back cover of the Wild Heart tour program, and it's got like a little signature on it. It's obviously, it's a pre-done thing, but that is the photo that for sure was in the in the membership club. An exclusive oval button, not too sure which oval button was the button. I don't know if it was a photo button or if it just said like the Stevie Nicks Fan Club. I have no idea. But what I also found really interesting was the free bonus 2x3 foot color poster. And it says foot, but I guess that is it. But it is this Wild Heart one that I've shown you a whole bunch of pictures of, the poster that we know. And if you look back at that, $10 for all of that was a freaking steal. And I understand in 82 or 83 it was probably a bit more money, but I just was looking at that the other day and I'm like, are you kidding me? And then it's, yes, I can't wait to become a member of Stevie's Fan Club, duh. I enclose a check or money order for $10. New York State residents add 8% sales tax, made payable to Fanfare Marketing Incorporated. And remember, exclusive means that only you as a member of this fan club will receive these items. I mean, I never got stuff like this. I know I got, and I've shown you in my Wild Heart scrapbooks that I have had one letter. There was a letter that I had received from Herbert Worthington on ordering some more stuff, but I don't know how I didn't get this stuff, how I was never part of the fan club. I wouldn't just kill to have one now. I'd kill to have one that had my name on it, like something, that was just like, original, authentic. It'll never happen, obviously. But I would probably go so far as to say that if I could find one, I'd probably try and like forge my name. I'd be like, oh, I totally had this since 82 or 83. I would not put it past myself. This is just a really nice photograph of the cover. It's nothing unusual, but it is kind of slipped behind this. But it was a photograph. It was a really pretty photograph. And it's just so stark and pretty. And again, kind of, like this, like I had just shown you. But having it just as a photograph without all that font and stuff. Actually, I love it with the font. If you go back through my records, you'll see that how much I kind of swoon and tell you how pretty I think the 12-inch promo of Stand Back is. That is just, that beautiful dark, sepia brown black with the picture and that font, and that's it. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's funny because this is just one of my favorite photographs, not, how to explain it, and it's even here, isn't that funny? This is something had given me quite some time back, and I thought this was really cool. Which is just really pretty. I've had in the background here. It had a little sticker on it that you could kind of set it up, but I just kind of like leaving it leaning like that. I don't know, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's a favorite photograph, but not like if somebody said, what's your favorite photograph? It's a favorite photograph I like to look at, and I just kind of like the imagery. It's not all the capes, and it's not all the gossamer, you know, the imagery of Stevie, but it's that kind of old Hollywood garbo kind of deal, not just because that was the flip side of the Stand Back song. I don't know, it's just something I really like. This was really cool because, again, it came out of some magazine. It was a clipping, so I did not have the entire magazine, unfortunately, with Stevie Nicks in concert by WMMS, a radio station, obviously, I'm sure. I wish I did know what it had come from. This is something that was also a clipping, and the back of it, I recognized it. It was from a magazine that talked about, like, women in rock, and I looked back through my scrapbooks, and I did not have either of these, which I was really surprised, nor did I have this. But my handwriting is on it that is from Scene magazine, August 3rd, 1983. And down at the bottom here it says Stevie Nicks Rock Fairy Princess, which is a really cool photo. But one of the new photos I got is this one right here, and I am crazy about it. There's a couple things I'm crazy about. The gloves and the fact that she's wearing high heels with leg warmers. Now you can't see the high heels, but you know, those are clearly not boots. You can just kind of see the foot part of it there at the bottom with the little, I don't even know if those are proper leg warmers or just those kind of like, you know, like those wrist tennis bands, you know, that you can put on your ankle. It's so 80s, and I'm here for it. And then the little gloves. But that was just a really pretty live photo that I had not seen before, and I was really stoked to get it. And it's funny because I was showing it to a friend, and she's like, oh my God, the little gloves. And then I'm like later, oh wait, what about the shoes? It's just so cute. And this is one that I think was in my book earlier, but I had to take it apart for whatever reason, so I put this in. Unfortunately, although the hair is kind of similar, you know, obviously that was the cut she had for the tour. I mean, I don't think they're from the same night, but it's how her hair is kind of you know, how it is. It could be, but I really don't think so. But it's a great photo. It doesn't matter. So that was those two photos, and then to wrap it up, this was the other one I had gotten. Again, not one I had seen before. Seen several like it, and I do love during the Wild Heart tour that she had that kind of, you know, that pink lighting that often gave a kind of fuzz around her hair or body, what she was wearing. There's so many photos like that. And this photo here was really, really interesting to me. It has somebody's handwriting on the back, and it's like, it says like Fritz, like made out to somebody maybe named Fritz. And then on the back of it, it says, what I think I can read, Long Branch Saloon, Thursday, March 29th, 1984. I honestly didn't look it up. I meant to before I did the video. Shocking, I know. So 84 would obviously be, you know, Wild Heart era, but after the, you know, most of the pictures I'm showing you. But I've never seen or heard anything from this place. And it also sounds to me like more of a smaller venue, Long Branch Saloon versus a venue. I'm not saying that the person wrote on this accurately, but it's a pretty precise date and a pretty concise place. So I really do want to look that up. But again, I had not seen this photograph before. I thought that was kind of an interesting photo. So much of it looks familiar. In fact, I didn't think it was Wild Heart because during, you know, and with that scarf thing, and I think I pointed that out in other videos, because I think she's worn that a lot during Rock a Little as well. But this says 84. That's what the back of the picture says. Another thing that was kind of funny is this. If you can read it, it says, obviously I'm going to say it's from Cream magazine. For an outrageous fee, Pop Chanteuse Stevie and producer pal Jimmy Iovine will perform an improvised, you know the word I'm trying to say, polka at your wedding. Funny as hell, snarky as hell, like they normally are. But what's really funny is it's this Stevie and Kim Anderson. Jimmy was there that night, but this picture is actually Stevie and Kim. And what's even funnier about it is, again, I went through all my scrapbooks and stuff, and I don't have this clipping. And it's just so funny to me that, I mean, I'm coming up on 20 volumes, you guys, full of all these pictures, all this journey that I've shown you. And there are so many pages. There was a pile I took out today. Let's see if I can pull this up for you guys without getting caught and stuff. Which I have to go back and see if I've shown you, which I don't think I have. And this is all miscellaneous stuff that needs to go in an album. That needs to go in an album that I haven't shown you yet. Or, you know what I mean? Or maybe I've shown you, sometimes, you know, I'd show blank pages, but this is stuff that's sitting outside of an album. And I've got a couple piles like that, you know, in between, wedged in between the volumes. And I'm like, you know, and here I am again asking for more photos from this person. Yeah. And from another, there's two people I'm dealing with right now trying to obtain photos from because, you know, because I clearly need more stuff. But yeah, that was just kind of, it's just crazy to me. I'll just look through it and be like, it's a dumb little clipping. I mean, it's an inch by an inch and, you know, I'll go through it and lo and behold, I don't have it. I've seen that picture. I might even have that picture, but the little clipping. And I'm just a nut job for that. I love all those little clippings. And then last but not least, this has kind of been circulating on the internet and I feel really bad. I asked a friend of mine, and I believe this was given to me by a friend, but this is, out and I think this is a picture that I've taken because of the little mark on it. But Herbert was messing around with this photo and it was really cool because, you know, I showed you all those photos from yesterday, which I don't think, yeah, I don't have that out, but you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, it's kind of buried. I apologize. But he did this to a couple photos. It's very infamous. The one I had up here in the past, that was the Nightbird. And I think this one, as my friend reminded me, was called Night Flight. But this shows kind of more an ocean, the birds. And it's just really neat how Herbert had done this to a couple of the pictures. The Nightbird sleeve. There's a bigger version of that, this picture, and then there was another one. Or is that one with the stars and, you know. Anyway, but it's just kind of neat that he had done this, you know, kind of early Photoshop, you know, techniques and such like that. Although it's also, again, the 80s, even though this came out in the 70s, it does kind of remind me of, like, you know, Jonathan Livingston Seagull or something like that. Not to be corny, but... So that is it for this thing. I'm sorry I went off on these other little tangents, and I'm sorry I didn't have more to show you. But I'm still working on it. I'm, you know, going to be up late doing more and all day tomorrow. So thank you again so much for joining me. I think I'll be coming back with Wild Heart, you know, retro, you know, going back to Wild Heart album and some pictures because I still have a little pile over there. Or maybe I'll do Belladonna, who the hell knows. You'll just have to come back and see me tomorrow to find out. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you later. Bye.